am back with another spooky story, and this one is a submission from Trinidad. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Waves. So Waves took a rideshare, and once the driver picked her up, she asked the driver if he knew about the area that she was going to. And he said yes, I'd been up there once, and it's a place I'd never forget. Waves lives in the countryside. He picked her up in the port of Spain, so town. So as he's driving, he starts telling Waves about his experience in that particular area. So the driver and a friend went to the waterfall, which is the entry street just one street away from where Waves was going. Now, there's a bit of a hike to get there, and it's very forested, like very tall trees. So most people know that when you go there, you don't have a guide, so it's best that you leave before 4 p.m. Before 4 p.m., you better be back on that main road. So the driver and his best friend, they went up, they got snacks, drinks, and some herbs to smoke. They got there around 12 p.m. They bathed, they enjoyed the beautiful vibes that there's usually a lot of people there. They had a smoke, they were so chilled, they fell asleep. When they woke up, it's almost 5 p.m. and of course, the place is getting dark. So afraid that they might get lost on the way out, they hurried to get out. Now, at that time, the forest itself already looked like it was 7 p.m. It was that dark. Now, here's where it got strange. As they were trying to make their way out, they heard a baby crying. And the more they walked, the louder the cries got. So thinking that someone must have abandoned a baby in the woods, they followed the cry until eventually it led them to a tree. And lo and behold, there was a baby wrapped up. Seems to be a newborn. And of course, they decided to pick the baby up and take it with them. The driver took his friend's stuff, and his friend picked up the baby and they started walking again. Now, the driver starts to notice that his friend is breathing very heavy. So he looks over and he's like, okay, maybe he needs help. So his friend said, insert Trini accent, "This baby getting heavy, boy. This baby's getting heavy, boy." So they decided to switch. As he's trying to take the baby from his friend, the baby just starts hysterically crying. Real loud, almost like this baby is screaming. The driver got agitated a bit, so they just keep the baby. While his friend had the baby, fair enough, the child was quiet. As they started walking again, his friend started struggling again. He was huffing and puffing as if he was carrying a ton. So again, the driver offered to take the baby. This time, when he was about to take the baby, he noticed that the baby's legs were longer, but he still tried to take the baby. This time though, the baby had its arm around the friend's neck like an older child. The baby held on and would not let go of his friend. Suddenly, bear with me now. Suddenly, the baby's head turned and looked at him and said in a deep voice, "If all y'all know is good for all y'all, you will put me back where you find me." I ate that? No. That's fine. The eyes of this thing had no white. It was just dark. But somehow the eyes were still glowing. And of course, the driver and his friend were almost ready to release everything they ate and drank that day. Now the friend is trying to get the baby off of him, but the baby just won't let go. Scared out of their minds, they said that, you know what, we have to go back. They somehow managed to find the tree to put the thing back, which was now a baby again, and they let it go. They somehow managed to find the tree to put the thing back, which was now a baby again, and it let go. Now, Wave said, now most people know when you meet a zombie, you never turn your back till you clear out of its sight. They walked backwards, not sure if they were lost, but they got to the road clearing and took off. And the driver said that for weeks he couldn't sleep. And a friend of his told him that he had something on him. They took him to a spiritual lady, aka an Obia woman. She said that she couldn't even allow him to enter her house, for there was something on him in which he had to do several cleansing at sea for a certain amount of time. She also told the driver that he cannot help his friend, nor should he even be around him, or he too will suffer the same fate. About 2 months after, his friend was still having difficulties with sleeping, eating, etc. The driver said it broke his heart to have to tell his friend that he can't be around him anymore. His friend was in such a state that he ended up in a mental institution. Till this day, the friend still hears the baby crying. They were about 18 when this happened. They are now in their 40s. When the driver got closer to where Waves lives, he started cold sweating. He was so terrified that when he dropped her off, he drove off at high speed. That was a good submission. If you have a spooky story that you would like to tell, feel free to DM them to me either on Instagram or message me right here on TikTok. Just go straight out the gate, submit the story. Don't ask, can I submit? Yes, you can. Just submit the stories. And if you have not already, make sure you follow me on Instagram just so that I know that it's real. Duh. While you're at it, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have long form spooky stories. Anyway, I love you, my abducted humans. From your favorite Haitian homegirl.